Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, and I'm going to be creating a double page layout in this video. I'm also going to be walking you through my thought process of stretching a single page layout into a double page spread. Now I'm going to start by creating the page you see on the left, and then I'm going to stretch it. And the page on the left, Shamel created a similar page on a Facebook Live. That's where I got my inspiration. And I'm going to link up her Facebook Live below in case you're interested. This is what I'm going to be using today. And the material comes from the Simple Stories Winter Cottage collection. And I also have my latest favorite die. It's a planner die, but I'm using it all the time. Anyway, I will talk more about these products throughout the process. I got everything here at the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, so I will link up the shop as well as everything I'm using in the description box below. So this is what I have on my desk. I have 2 sheets of vanilla 12 by 12 textured cardstock for my foundation page. I matted my photos with that dark green cardstock in advance, and that's from Simple Stories. They have different color family collections of solid cardstock, and that one's the winter collection. And also I have a cut apart sheet that was tags, and I cut it apart in advance. It's part of the 12 by 12 collection pack with the printed paper. So I'm showing you the tags right now. One side is very colorful, good for embellishing, and the flip side there are lines for journaling. So I'm showing you the printed paper that I selected for this project. There you have it in front of you. And also I have some more solid cardstock. I have the 12 by 12 sticker sheet. That as well was in the collection pack with the printed paper. And also in front of me, there's the die. It's from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and there are a whole bunch of mini collections called Planner Essentials, and each one of them has a planner page. Every planner page is a little bit different, but the little dies that go with it for each mini collection differ, and the one I selected has leaves. I have this tray in front of me, of course, and that has all my smaller embellishments in it. And there's a pot that I always keep on my desk. I just thought I would show you. It's where I keep all my brushes, and it actually belonged to my grandmother, so I really like it. And this box there, that's my December embellishment box. That's handy as well. So I'm going to start creating my layout, and what I'm going to do is start by creating the layout that I'm inspired to do by Shamel. That's the page that you saw on the left. So then what I will do is I'm going to have to stretch it because I'm a double page scrapbooker. So I'm going to start with this page, and then I'll create the second page, and in the end I'm going to bring the 2 pages together and use some pretty basic design principles to kind of reunite the 2 pages together. So you can see I cut myself a large border there. That's going to go on the right hand side of the page. And now what I'm going to do is cut out one of these planner pages. So what I'm going to do is use it for layering and use it for journaling. Basically, if you like layering and you like journaling, you may like this die. I like both of those things, and I absolutely love it. You're going to see what I do with it a little bit later on. So now what I'm going to do is simply place all my parts on the page, how they will appear. I'm going to have that large border on the right. The photo is going to be kind of tossed towards the left, and that planner page, I'm going to tuck it underneath, and I'm going to be putting my title there, my journaling there, and it's also going to serve as the base to my embellishment cluster. Now I'm showing you my title that I cut out in advance with my Big Shot. So you can see it's Noel, December 24th. That's going to go on the 2 pages. I'm showing you the little scraps of paper that I used to cut out my letters. That's why I love die cutting my letters. The smaller ones there are from Lawn Fawn. They are called Stitched Alphas, something like that. And the larger ones are from Pink Fresh Studio from the Adore Alpha collection. So I'm just going to toss that larger title aside. And when I put my embellishing together for this page, I will use the smaller title. So I'm just playing around with placement, and placement is important here because I want the title to fit on that planner page a certain way. I want it to entirely fit on the planner page. But before adhering, I am going to add a bit of ink to the foundation page. So you see me there with a Picket Fence Studio blending brush and some Tranquil Tide ink from Stampin' Up! And I'm just adding a soft green area behind the foundation page where my focal point photo will be placed a little bit later on. I made sure to start in an area where my photo would be covering it in case I created a blob, and I did. Anyway, now I'm adhering these parts to the page before continuing, so I'm adhering this border together, and then you're going to see me get out a pencil. Like I mentioned earlier, placement of the photo is important because I want December, or the abbreviation for December, to really just fit on top of the photo and on the planner page. And I want 24th also to just fit on the planner page a little bit to the right of the photo. So what I'm going to do now is get out my embellishing. That's what you see on my desk. So I have that bowl full of pre-selected embellishments from 2 ephemera packs. You can see I'm playing with tags here, and this is exactly what Chamel did. She had this kind of staggered grouping of tags to the right of the photo. So that's what I'm doing with that tag pack there. And I'm also digging into my ephemera bowl, playing around with placement. Some stuff stays where I'm placing it now, others get shifted around. You're going to notice later on, up by the abbreviation of December, a little holly leaf gets stuck up there. What you see me getting out right now are some die-cut Christmas branches, basically. That was in my December embellishment box. I used a die and some gold paper from my stash to cut these out when I was preparing that embellishment box, and I'm just tucking a few pieces around my photo. The top left corner, I put one there in the bottom right of the photo, but that also gets dropped a little bit later on. And now what you see me doing is simply adding a bit of ink to all the tags and to the ephemera pieces before I adhere it. I don't make you watch all of this, and you're going to see me come in and I start adhering these very, very quickly. I'm using an adhesive called Sticky Specs. That's that yellow piece of paper that has like a piece of plastic that lifts up, and basically it's an adhesive where you put a detailed piece on top of it and it kind of picks up the adhesive. I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's kind of messy, but it does the job. So you can see I'm adhering all of these pieces down exactly where I placed them. Like I said earlier, that gold part that on the bottom right corner of the photo, that gets dropped a little bit later on. Now I start adhering my title, and it did work, so I'm placing it exactly where I had planned. I stopped the film and continued with my title. You can see I put that holly leaf as well up by the word December, and you may have noticed I actually removed some of the ephemera from that tag embellishment cluster. So now what I'm going to do is start working on page 2. Now what's important here, the first page that I did was kind of a design type page. Often you find it in a sketch, or in this case I was scrap lifting Chamel, but it's kind of a page that stands on its own. But I want to create a double page layout. So typically for me, when I create a double page layout to this type of page, I create something super, super simple. What I want here is to make it quickly, first of all, but I also want it to be simple. I want the design to be simple because I want page 1 to have the focal point. I want that to have the most impact. So as you can see, I cut down some strips of paper and I'm just simply creating a border of photos. That's it. And there's a lot of room for the eye to rest still because there's a lot going on the first page. Now, before adhering that large border, what I am going to do is just adhere a narrow border to the far right end of the page. So I cut a strip of paper. It's about 1 inch wide, but what I'm doing is tucking it behind the foundation page, and what's peeking out is about 1/2 inch. I just simply like the look when it comes out from behind as opposed to adhering it on top, but I could have done that and it would be easier. Obviously, when I added that 1/2 inch, my page got longer, so I had to trim it down to 12 by 12 again, and now I'm going to adhere that border like I had shown you earlier with my photos. You can also see I kind of switched up the paper a bit. On this page, the blue and white floral is the large part as opposed to that dark green holly. So I'm happy with that, and now what I'm going to do is just create 2 really simple embellishment clusters. But when I'm landed at this point in the double page spread, it's what I'm going to be focusing on here are visual triangles, quite literally. I'm just doing finishing touches. So you can see where I plan to place my title over on the right hand side. But what I want to do is start to establish a visual triangle. So I have that giant cluster of tags on the left. So I'm going to put one tag underneath the title on the right page, but I want one a little bit towards the top to create a visual triangle. So I tucked one in underneath that middle photo in that photo border. So now I'm just adding a few little extra pieces of ephemera. I'm just looking in my bowl there. Nothing's adhered at this point. And I'm digging back into my gold stuff. In that embellishment box, I had also little punched out hearts. So that's what you see me getting out. I like the one that's on the border, photo border on the right hand page, but again, I want to create a visual triangle with that. I'm not quite sure at this point, but you're going to see me come in a bit later on. I'm just trimming down those tags. The parts that are either tucked are going to bleed off the page. I can use it for another page. And again, I'm adding ink to the tags and the ephemera pieces. So I'm going to adhere this gold leaf down, and now I'm going to adhere the tags. So that's exactly what you see me doing. I'm just adhering the parts exactly where I had placed them. The little piece of ephemera that was on that tag under the title that says Joy, it's dark green. It's kind of tone on tone, but I popped it up with some foam adhesive. And now what you see me doing is putting the title down. So what I did off camera here is you can see all my tags have reinforcers now. So I did that with a hole punch, a tiny hole punch, a 1/2 inch circle punch, and I did it in that blue and green cardstock, the same one I used in the title, and I just adhered them to the tags. Also off camera, I removed those gold leaves that were in the bottom right corner of the photo on the left page. It was just bothering me. Once I had gotten the two pages together, it felt like it was too much. So now what you see me doing is adding bows, but I'm only going to add bows to 3 tags. Again, I'm working on visual triangles. I have 6 tags here, and I think 6 bows would be too much. Anyway, I put a bow underneath the title Noel on that tag, the one in the photo border, and I also put it on one of the tags in that giant tag cluster. For the other 3 tags, I'm simply going to add red enamel dots. And I hesitate here because everything's kind of blue and green and almost tone on tone here, but I'm introducing a little bit more red here. And what that's going to do is get me to dig into my sticker sheet and look for a bit more red in a little bit. You may notice in a bit, I'm also going to get out a few more of those gold hearts. I had that gold heart in that photo border, so I end up placing one on that tag on the left-hand page and one up there by the title on the left-hand page as well. All of those hearts have a little bit of foam adhesive underneath them, and also that little piece of ephemera on the left page that says Let It Snow in the tag cluster, that one there has a bit of foam adhesive as well. There's not tons of foam adhesive on this page, but a little bit in each one of the clusters. So now I do want to add a little bit of red. And what I do is get out the sticker sheet here, and I certainly want to put something in that planner page tab. So I have this little sticker that says Snow Fun, and that gives me a little hit of red. So that's a repetition of those enamel dots that's in the tags just below it. And then on the sheet, there are these little stickers of file tabs. I happen to love file tabs, so I'm going to stick those in and around that focal point photo. The bluish one's going to go right behind the photo mat there, and then I add a second one in, but this one is kind of going to go on top of it. It's going to be between the photo and the photo mat, and it just adds a little bit of layering. Now on this page I have a bunch of visual triangles, but they're all different. I've got the tags that go across the 2 pages. I've got the gold hearts that go from the title on the left page down to the tag on the left page and up to that photo border. I also have that red visual triangle there, and that's yet again a different visual triangle. It goes from the planner page down to the tags, and if you can see in that border on the right hand page, I added another file tab that's red in that cluster. Anyway, there are my 2 layouts, my double page spread. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I'd love it if you did as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out the Scrapbook Nerd online shop. The link's below. And have a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.